Hi everyone, Danny here with Ground State Tarot, coming to you with the Lunar New Year Fire Horse main energy for 2026 for ESFJ Consul personality types using the 16 personalities test, which I will include a link to when I post the video. And as a reminder, the context for the Fire Horse energy this year is about bold momentum. It's not about reckless chaos and propulsion, because it is fire energy and it can become that, but it's about reining it in. It's about concentrating that passion, that fire, so it becomes magnetic and also surgically propulsive, giving it direction, using that momentum to really see certain goals, dreams, experiences through by the end of this year. And so I want you to keep that in mind as I draw out the energy for this year. So without further ado, as a reminder, the first card will be the optimal energy. The second card is the suboptimal energy. The third card is the point of stagnation. The fourth is the way through. And the fifth will be the assertive type advice, and the sixth card will be the turbulent type advice. So without further ado, for ESFJ Consul types, your anchor card this year is loneliness, longing to belong. And then we get Snoopy, the world famous astronaut, which I will read at the end. So keeping in mind this loneliness anchor, you start off the year with temperance in your optimal energy clarified by justice. I have to cover the lovers because it has nudity, so that's why that one is kind of mostly covered. And judgment too has nudity in it, so that's why. But going back, this is telling me that you really need to honor your own state of emotional well-being this year. It's important to not just worry about other people's feelings, other people's emotions, other people's states of being this year, but it's really important to bring that balance to yourself. It's not about always thinking outside of yourself. It is important to include that within that. Include yourself every now and then, because that's when resentment really starts to breed, is when you are constantly putting others' needs in front of your own. And then by the time you look back and you realize you have a completely empty cup, you tend to feel pretty frustrated and easily then resentful. So this is telling me that you need to bring that sense of balance to your emotions so that you can turn this feeling of loneliness and longing to comfort in being still and being with yourself, not being by yourself. There's a difference between loneliness and solitude. So this year it's about learning to bring a sense of peaceful solitude to your emotional state. Your ability to traverse the turbulent waters of emotion sometimes while remaining grounded and firmly footed on the ground, on the earth. It's not floating away into the ocean of your emotions and drowning in that. It's bringing us, again, a sense of balance. Why do I say that? Because the suboptimal energy seems to be, again, staying in situations that in the past used to give you a sense of identity, a sense of, again, belonging, a sense of being needed. But the point of stagnation is staying in dynamics that are imbalanced, that are not fair. There is no reciprocal give and take. And so this identity then is rooted on something, in something, I should say, that isn't very sound. And it requires that you stop over intellectualizing the situation and just really feel into it and allow yourself to acknowledge, again, this sense of, keep in mind, we've got 6, and this idea of balance and harmony here. So this is really driving home this idea that you need to honor your feelings when it comes to being part of any relational dynamics where you feel like it's not equal give and take. And with the World and the 9 of Cups as the way through this stagnation, again, in your relational dynamics, because in the past you used to get a sense of identity and belonging and community from those places, you're now realizing that you've kind of exhausted your tolerance for unfairness or for being left out. And quite frankly, you're also reaching a point where you're not even really all that much interested anymore in external validation, to be honest. Because this is telling me, again, with the World and the 9 of Cups, that if you zoom out from this situation, if you take yourself out of this situation and you venture into the world, if you see the larger options available to you, you will realize that there is so much more waiting out there for you to experience that will bring a sense of fulfillment, that will reignite this sense of being fairly reciprocated by the world, by the experiences that you're having in front of you. You will feel that, but you need to, again, zoom out and sort of graduate away from this, complete this cycle, close it out, and do it from a place of looking out for your self-care, not from a place of ego or selfishness, but from a place of, again, turning loneliness into the satisfaction of sovereign solitude, okay? Keep that in mind. Sovereign solitude is so much better than loneliness. Think about it that way. The advice for the assertive types is to, again, be strategic when it comes to the things that you give yourself to, the things that you allow to sort of shift your sense of balance. This is a 7. And this can be the card of deception, but it's also the card of strategy. So it's telling me that you need to be strategic in this situation to take back the things, the aspects of you, the aspects of the way that you choose to engage with life. What do I mean by that? There are parts of you that you seem to have numbed, to have ignored, to have left out in order to keep the peace, in order to keep some semblance of harmony, but it was all a facade. And so now that you're taking back your energy, this is a card of taking back your energy in this case, it's important to look at the past, again, free of any sentimentality, any nostalgia, and just look at it factually, realistically, and realize that there are relationships, experiences, situations, dynamics that are imbalanced that you need to take your energy back from. You need to give yourself that option for a more fair and balanced approach to your dynamics. And with the Fool for the turbulent types, again, it's telling me that you really benefit from closing out this cycle and embarking on a new journey, a new experience. Because if you stay in this, you're going to burn out. You're already fatigued. You're already at wit's end, basically, with this situation. You're already feeling that loneliness, right? You're feeling a little bit of like left out. And if you stay in this situation, this new journey, new adventure, you're going to block yourself out of it. So it really, really, really behooves you to take that step, again, to close out this cycle and embark on a new life experience, a new era where you do put yourself first. And from that place of balance, you're then able to show up for others. And again, with the devil and the Ace of Wands on the bottom of the deck, it's letting me know that you need to let go of any toxic entanglements, any unfair situations, any situations that are keeping you from feeling safe enough to let your guard down to be yourself. There's a sense of performance, again, to keep the peace, but that was just, again, a performance. It wasn't real. So if you let go of that sense of responsibility for something that doesn't even really warrant you feeling so responsible for it, once you let that go, you reignite your sense of creativity, your inspiration for new experiences, new adventures, new ways of being that feel more fair and balanced and that allow you to step away from this feeling of loneliness, even when you're surrounded by people, so that you can stop externalizing that validation and begin to internalize it, and therefore give yourself that power back instead of seeking it out there. So with Snoopy, the world famous astronaut, let's see how this rounds out the message. 49. Okay, here we go. How does it feel to be the first beagle in space? As we grow older, our dreams grow with us, and while we always appreciated the Flying Ace's turns and maneuvers as a top pilot, Snoopy shows us that we can aim even higher. Shooting for the skies is a first step. You made it? Amazing. Now follow through and shoot for the moon. There is no limit to your imagination and fantasies. Plus, no matter who may scream no or no dogs allowed, space has plenty of room for you and all your wildest dreams. So remember that. That's a great message. Space has plenty of room for you and your wildest dreams. So this is really driving home this idea that you are not lonely. The universe, the world is expansive, it's huge, and you need to be brave enough to step out again into the world, zoom out from this experience, give yourself the care and the importance and the priority that you deserve. And in doing so, bring a sense of balance back to your relational dynamics, both internally and externally, and be able to venture back out into the world from a place of, again, sovereign solitude, and relinquishing this idea that you were ever lonely to begin with.